5, 4, 3, 2,
Manchester
1,
United have
0.
reached the promised land.
Good morning, everybody. How are you all doing? It's United People's TV. I'm Sam. It's Monday to kickstart the second week of the international break. This is always the low of the low, isn't it? Well, there's nothing really else to talk about. You've still got a week between well, just under a week between now and the new game. But hopefully everything should be working this morning. It was a busy old weekend here in United People's TV Towers. Got the whole new setup that you can't see created. Now, the one thing we're missing is another light there. That's going to be installed today. But good morning to everybody. We're going to be speaking about the return of Christian Eriksen, about a full roundup of the international break. 2 goals for Sabitzer, and an assist. 2 goals for Scott McTominay. Casemiro bagging a goal. Bruno bagging a goal. Rest for Rashford. Rest for Varane. Rest for sure. Lots to discuss in this morning's show. And then we're going to talk about that. Look, there's not an update per se to talk about with the takeover. I know everybody wants an update every single day, but it's not going to happen. And if you are going to get stuck in daily updates, you're probably going to get dragged into hysteria, and it's just going to annoy you. But Wayne Rooney, he's on the mannequin because that's what the members voted for. Nearly 40% of you wanted Rooney on the mannequin. So Rooney's on there. Look at that. That's a young Rooney. I don't know how old he is there. How old is he there? He looks like the age when we signed him from Everton. But Rooney's on the mannequin this week because you voted for it. I'm feeling slightly better. Man, it's been a rough old week. Who's down there in the comments? Let's have a look. Bully, good morning to you. Jonesy, we've got Matt Bird. We've got Richard Ocon, Teresa. Amy Hughes, how you doing? Carl, we've got Haley, Nikki. Max, you're sending in a super chat. Thank you very much, dude. Sam doesn't need to prove himself at this level. Oh, man. I did that video yesterday on McGuire. I think everybody knows me by now, right? I'd rather not get dragged down into the negativity of things, but that was such a car crash of a thing to say from Maguire. You'd think he'd have better advisors around him. Honestly, you think he would. But I'll get onto that a little bit later in the show. But yeah, this is what I was up to at the weekend. For anybody who didn't see, this was the original setup. That was my old TV. That was a monitor. It was like a 50 quid monitor that I bought. It worked. It was good, but it was a little bit cluttered, as you can see. So now we've upgraded, baby. Woo-wee! It was a lot of work to get that in, I'll be honest. Big up to my dad for helping me do it, aka doing most of it. But the new setup is good. The reason this is important, right? And I think I've said this to you for quite a while. I'm going to be upgrading. The gong is not gone, by the way. Best if I hold it the right way around. The gong's here. Don't worry about that. It's just I didn't show you in the photo. But the reason I upgraded this is because it gives me so much more ability. So stage 1 of the upgrade was improving the whole hardware of it all. Number 1. Number 2 is going to be improving the software of it all. And that's going to take a little bit of time, but trust me, as engaging as all of these are, as engaging as these shows are, I know that they can be about 10 times more engaging. And that's what the software upgrades are all going to be about. So that's part 2. And part 3, the final part, is going to be a complete revamp of what you see behind me. But yeah, thank you. I always say it to everybody, like, all your support here is being reinvested back into the channel. And that there is physical, literal proof of it. So big up to all of you. Yeah, man, I'm really happy with it. Really, really happy with it. It's quality. Needs another light, though. Needs another light. So it's not perfect. But let's get started with today's show. Let me see what you're saying down there. Table looks really good, says Chetan. Thank you very much. FP, you're asking about Streamlabs. Yeah, I think I've said it before. If anybody does have experience, like good experience using Streamlabs, that's what I want to move towards. I'm a technical dude. I can learn it, but it's going to take me a long old time to do it. So if anybody can come along and help me along the way, that will be a good thing. Let me pull up the stream here so I don't miss anything. Oh, missed that there. Oh man, look at that. There is no better way to start the. Oh, don't. One sec. There's no better way to start the week than a gong for Gungshi. Or the Gongshi. Gongshi for Gungshi. How you doing, buddy? Nice to see you there. Hope you had a cracking weekend. Good show lined up today. It's there's not much in terms of news per se to be speaking about, but I'm going to give you a full roundup of what happened with all the players during the international break. We'll speak about Eriksen. We'll speak. Sorry. Man, not quite there yet. Not quite there yet. Woo! Anyway, let's get into it. Look how many games we've got coming up in April, right? How mad is that? We have got 9 games coming up in April. How confident are you feeling about April? I mean, it's relentless, right? That is what it is. That's what the schedule is. When you're still in, we've got the Europa quarters beginning there with Sevilla. We've got the FA Cup semi with Brighton. It's going to be tough. It's not to complain about. It's what we want. We'd rather have a game every 3 days than having to wait 7 days in between each game because we're crap and we'll get knocked out of the cups. But Mr. Flat Peak himself, that's why. Man, I like Ten Hag swagger, man. Flat Peak, nice. Turtlenecks. He must have, you know, people have like tie collections. Like rich people have tie collections. Feels like Ten Hag has just got like a full turtleneck wardrobe. Just all the different colors. That's what I think. So anyway. Oh man, thank you so much, Jibak. Jibak, good morning to you, sir. You've gifted 5 memberships as well. Man, it's such a tickle in the throat. It's really annoying. I don't know what this is. Chris, you're saying Sevilla's a knockout competition. I know it is. I know it is. Right? I didn't make this on Twitter, but it just shows you what people love doing that. I'm not saying I'm not having a go at you, but people just love doing that. Just pointing out if you've done like 90% of work correct, they'll always point out that you got this wrong. I suppose it's good when people make sure you keep your standards. And you're saying bit concerned with our weak squad, but we are far above where we thought we'd be. I'm concerned about it as well. But I tell you what, I think Erik Ten Hag, well, touch wood that nothing happens. Are there any more games to play? I'm sure there are. I'm sure there's some more fixtures. But we have had a pretty good international break so far. Lisandro Martinez enjoyed himself. Did everyone watch that video? It was wicked. The video of the Argentina team back in Argentina. Did they play Panama? I think it was Panama. And they won, I think it was a 2-0. But the celebrations that they had there, Lisandro Martinez joining the boys, going out for a few drinks. Happy for him. I'll be honest, I was happy for Argentina. I think the story of what happened there with Messi during that World Cup, I was glad to watch it, and I enjoyed it. But let's talk about Manchester United here and the players during the international break. Because as I said, and I don't think this is a coincidence, I specifically remember the last international break, we talked about how well United's players were playing during that international break. And this time it's happened again. And it's not a coincidence. It's not a coincidence. It's when players go into the international break in better form, in better confidence, happier mood, they play better. And somebody who kind of stole the show was Marcel Sabitzer. It was an impressive performance from him, scoring 2, getting an assist. There's old Ralphie. Look, Ralph Rangnick. Come on. I know there's a lot of people that just completely and utterly dismiss the idea that Ralph Rangnick did any good at Manchester United because of how bad the football was. And the football was bad. The football was terrible. I've got a little soft spot for him. Only a little one. For what he said. Sorry. Oh, God. Why won't it go away? Anyway, enough about Rangnick. Let's talk about Sabitzer. Sabitzer grabbing 2 goals, getting an assist. Mate, Marcel Sabitzer, I want him to stay, and apparently he wants to stay as well. This here is from Fabrizio saying Marcel Sabitzer is very happy with his United experience. He'd be happy to stay with Ten Hag. The loan deal does not include a buy option, but we know full well. I say we know full well. We've seen reports saying somewhere in the region of like 20 to 30 million for Sabitzer, which, to be honest, man, like in the sphere of football transfers where you just see wild fees, 20 to 30 million for Sabitzer would be an absolute bargain. And well, look, I suppose you can't say sign Sabitzer because he's scored 2 goals for Austria, right? I'm not saying that, but he's, in my opinion, he's been pretty impressive throughout his time at United so far. Slowly doing the right things in the right way. He's got his first goal, of course, the other week. I'm looking, especially for the fact that Julian Nagelsmann's now been sacked. Maybe that's the wrong thing to say, because I think if Nagelsmann had stayed at Bayern Munich, then he definitely would have left. But Tuchel going there, maybe Tuchel will like him, but he's not. He's spoiled for choice there with his midfielders. He's absolutely spoiled for choice. Do you think we'll sign Sabitzer? I mean, I think he'll want to. And I think for a squad option, it's a seriously good signing I think we can make as well. But look, he wasn't the only United midfielder to score 2 goals during the international break. Scott McTominay, I think, came off the bench, didn't actually look, but scored 2 late goals for Scotland against Cyprus at Hampden Park. And did you see his first goal? My God. His first goal was cracking. Controlled it on the run, off his thigh, baffed it. Baffed it. Ah, man, I might have to call this stream short. I must have COVID. I've had it 3 times already. Seriously. Annoying. Anyway, McTominay. I'm back in the game. Just had to get that out there. But McTominay scoring 2 there for Scotland. That first goal was cracking. Second goal, really accomplished finish. And look, McTominay, for me, I know so many people slate McTominay. And he puts McTominay in the same McFred. That was it. It was McFred, wasn't it? And I've always maintained the entire way through. McTominay and Fred in isolation are decent midfielders. I don't think they're world-class midfielders. I don't think they ever will be world-class midfielders. I'm saying that. No, maybe not. But Fred's very good going forward. I think Fred's a little bit better. McTominay is a decent central midfielder when you play him towards the edge of the opposition's box. He's not a number 6. He's never been a number 6, which is why I find it really weird. Luke Edwards from The Telegraph saying that Newcastle are looking at McTominay as a potential number 6 to allow Bruno Guimaraes to be more, advanced. That's not McTominay's strengths. Never has been, never will be. However, if you play him closer to the opposition's box, he's actually quite good when you allow him that free role, or a freer role. It's just that United, we've had who? We've had Pogba, we've had Bruno, we've had other players, better players, who have operated there. So McTominay's never been able to play there. I think he leaves United this summer. I think United get a good fee for him. And I think, I'll be honest, I think he'll be a good signing for someone. And I said this on Twitter at the weekend. I said, just entertain the hypothetical concept here. If Sabitzer, if it's completely hypothetical because it's 3 things happening and then none of them are guaranteed. But the idea that we could get Sabitzer, and I threw Gravenberch's name in there for shits and giggles because I think United now are going to be looking at De Jong alternatives. And Gravenberch has to be one of them. Still out of favour at Bayern Munich. Hasn't really worked out. He was brought through at Ajax by our man, Erik ten Hag, to replace that man, De Jong. He knows he can do it. And I think it's something that we should try. My word. It's so annoying here. It's so annoying. One more second here. I'm going to have to cough again. Jeez. What are you saying down here in the comments? This man needs a Strepsil, man. I've had all the goods. All the goods. I need more goods. What's in the flask? I wish it wasn't water, but it is water. Man, there's about 8 nurses in the comments. You should have some CBD oil. Have some honey and whiskey. It's quite funny. Everyone's coming with their suggestions. But again, it wasn't just Sabitzer who was scoring 2. It wasn't just McTominay who was scoring too. Casemiro scored and captained Brazil. Big up. Big up to Casemiro. It's just, we've had a very good international break in terms of our midfielders. Zidane Iqbal, did you watch his performance? I suppose. I didn't really watch it either. He was impressive for Iraq against Russia. Bruno Fernandes, he got an assist for Portugal against that, man. It was against Luxembourg, let's be completely honest. But Bruno getting an assist, McTominay getting 2 goals, Sabitzer getting 2 goals and an assist, Casemiro getting a goal. Hell yeah. That's what I mean. It puts us, it's a good thing. It helps with the confidence and the momentum. Sometimes in international breaks, certainly over the last few years, Man United have sort of lost momentum. But the players are keeping it up here. And I think it's testament to the work that Erik ten Hag has done and is doing with this squad, that everyone's got that confidence that they can take it into an international break. If you see what you're saying in the comments, other than all the all the home remedies, 2-litre bottle of vodka, whiskey, chamomile tea with whiskey. It's amazing how everyone's got their own home brews. Max, Sam the, I don't know what that means. Sam the coughing. I reckon that you mean coughing there rather than cuffing. He does look good in that cap. He's a good hat man. He's got a good swag. Got to appreciate him there. But in terms of all the positives of all the players on international break, the other big positive is around this man. We need him back so badly. It's not even fair. Casemiro's missing for the first 2 games as well. Remember that. Against Newcastle and Brighton. I think, is it those 2 games he's missing? Not Brighton, sorry. Brentford. I believe it's those 2. But Christian Eriksen being back would be such a huge positive. Now, we don't know the exact date yet, right? So I'm not here saying that Christian Eriksen's going to be back for that first game. Oh, I think someone joined as a member. Let me quickly give you a shout out there. Lee, you did. Don't know whether that's you renewing, sir. But thank you very much, man. Nice to have you on board. But Christian Eriksen, this is what he said. Teresa, you're down there saying go and see a doctor. My mum's been saying the same thing as well. Maybe I will. Maybe I will. All the advice. More than one person been saying it. But this is what Christian Eriksen has been saying about his injury and his rehabilitation. He said, yeah, it is going well. I've just started being outside, as you saw, with football boots on. And then we take it from there. That's the next step. I've been in the gym for some weeks now. And now it is time to do the rehab session outside. I'm so looking forward to getting Eriksen back. That one word that's so important to Erik ten Hag, control. You know it's control, or the lack of. We've effectively in that last, after the Carabao Cup, we became really quite heavily a transition team, which is how we played our best football under Solskjaer. Getting the ball from defence to attack as quickly as possible, using the pace of Rashford, using the pace of Anthony and and getting the balls in behind from Bruno. That's how we played, and that's how we won our games. In the games after the League Cup final, where we lost a little bit of momentum, which is kind of understandable after winning that trophy. But Eriksen coming back in, we need that because games can't go at 1,000,000 miles an hour 24/7. As much as you might enjoy it, it's just not realistic. Ten Hag wants that control back, to be able to just have possession, knock it around. And no one else can really do it. Not on the same level that Christian Eriksen can do it in this team. So I can't wait for him to be back. We don't know whether he's going to be back for Newcastle. You would probably imagine he wouldn't be back for there. If we were, everyone, you can let me know in the comments, right? Let's go down here. What game would you predict Eriksen will be back for? because I don't really think he'll be back for Newcastle. I think that'll be too much too soon, because that's probably going to be one of the most intense games of the fixture list as well. I think I don't know. I'd love to get him back for the Brentford game at home, but again, I think that might be a little bit early. Everton? Yeah, Everton could work. And if he was back for Everton, and then he could feature in the other games. If he could feature, oh man, that'd be good. That'd be really, really good. Paul, you think it'll be the Forest game? Amy, you're saying Nottingham Forest. Paul, you're saying Everton. Fatty, you're saying Brentford. Nazil, you're saying Sevilla away. I'm going for Everton. Everton at home. That's my prediction. And I'd love to see him back for then. And you're getting angry in the comments. I hate the criticism of counter-attacking football as if it's some form of lesser football. No, it's about having the combinations. You have to have the ability to hit on the counter-attack, but you cannot just be a transition. No, you can try if you want, but look at all the teams that have been the most successful over the last 5 years. Control is a massive element of their games. It is the modern game of football. I'm not saying, I don't know why I've got that on screen. I'm not saying that you can't have that explosive transition, but if you rely specifically on that explosive transition, there will be quite a few teams that you come. It's why we always came unstuck against a team that played a low block, because that explosive transition doesn't really work that well against a lower block. That's what I think. Stuart Williamson, how you doing, buddy? You sent in a super chat. You're saying we need to talk about Højlund. Perfect fit for Ten Hag. I think we've spoken about his Rasmus, isn't it? We've spoken about him before. I'm not going to speak about him in this show. Maybe we can do a little video on him a little bit later in the week. Maybe. Maybe not. Man, I think I've run out of water. One last dregs. But yeah, I know so many of you this morning are coming here going, Sam, give me the sweet, sweet update on the sale of Manchester United. Give me that news. The reality is the news happened at the weekend and the news is already covered. The bids have gone in. I covered that with my Saturday morning video before I dismantled the studio. The bid went in from Sheikh Jassim. The bid is already in from Jim Ratcliffe and Ineos. Both of those bids are in now. All we need to do now, I say all we need to do, all we're waiting on is what are the Glazers going to do next? And this really is a critical point of this sale, because this is where it's really formalized. Like stage one with the indicative offers coming in, that was still massive posturing, wasn't it? That was, I say posturing, that's a bit of an unfair way to describe it, but it wasn't until this point where the meetings have happened at Old Trafford. The Qatari delegation, the Ineos delegation, they're all in now. They've met, they've read through all the books. They've seen the presentations about future earnings. They've discussed how much it's going to cost to redevelop Old Trafford. They both now have a far bigger grasp of how much the bid should really be. So these bids that have gone in now, that's been done with some real groundwork. So that's why it's important that those bids, that's a big difference between these bids and the first round. And it's at this round here where we should get some real clarity on the Glazers' intentions. Now, as you will obviously know, I mean, this is from the Daily Mail, but it's completely and utterly true. In terms of the split between the Glazers, it's a big problem, man. They're reporting here that Avram is against the full sale. Joel Glazer, he's reticent, but could be persuaded by a lot of dough. And the rest of the Glazers, they're like, man, can you just hurry up and cash in? The Glazer family is massively split on this, and it's a massive part of all of the delays. I wish I could come here with really quick news, but the sales, it's not like a transfer. Don't look at this takeover in the same way you might look at Man United trying to sign Frenkie de Jong, right? Because if you do that, you're going to get pissed off. You're going to be angry that there's not daily updates. Because agents aren't leaking anything on this. Sheikh Jassim, they've signed and his Qatari delegation, they've signed an NDA just in the same way that Jim Ratcliffe and Ineos have signed that NDA. You're going to see a lot of speculation, but nothing really too much, in my opinion, in terms of credible information directly from both camps. Look, I've spoken to Ben Jacobs 6 times. He's obviously got good sources. And all the journalists do have good sources. But this is not a situation where you will be getting daily updates on it. All right. That's something I covered on Friday. I kind of got a bit pissed off about that. I was saying, don't like the hysteria around it and the desire for daily updates is what feeds that machine. Jibak, you're saying, I've been wondering if those 4 Glazers will take one of their partial investment offers and dump their shares and get out. Still leaves Joel in charge. We know full well that Joel and Avram tried to buy out their other siblings in the summer. They went to Apollo Investment, like another one of those investment hedge funds, wherever it was. They went there to try and get investment to buy out their siblings, and they got rejected. Be interested to see if they'll try that again. But over the course of the last year or so, you remember I've covered this. Kevin Glazer, he's sold quite a few of his shares. I think Edward Glazer has too. Even Avram Glazer has cashed in some of their shares. It's why their ownership is diluted down to 69% more rather than what it was before. I think someone might have gifted memberships down here, so I don't want to miss that. Oh, wow. Oh, shit, Chris. Mate, Chris, you absolute ledge. Gifting 10 memberships. That'll buy me some honey. Hey! Cheers, man. Thank you so much. Absolute ledge. Let me see what you're saying in the comments down here. Bully, you're saying, do you think that's it, or do you reckon there'll be a round 3 bid? My personal prediction is expect a 3rd round of bidding. But that's just a prediction, right? That's not an in the know. That's just kind of what I expect of the Glazers. If you're Joel and Avram Glazer at this point, of course, the thing we don't know and the thing we won't find out is how big are those bids. That's an important point, important factor to sort of take into consideration, because if that bid from Qatar is significantly bigger than we think it is, then maybe there won't be a round 3. Maybe there'll be a period of exclusivity. But my expectation, if I was to predict what's going to happen, I think there'll be a 3rd round of bidding, and I think the Glazers will put through one of probably like Elliott Management Investment, whatever it was, put through one of those just to have the trepidation of potentially a partial sale still there. It feels like jeopardy is something that they thrive on. That's my personal prediction. But I think we'll find out at some point this week. If it goes the same as last time, you're probably going to get a response within the 7 days. And that means that by Saturday, there should be an update on it. But my point is, don't expect daily updates. It's not a transfer. We're talking about the sale of Manchester United Football Club here. A sale that's going to be somewhere in the region, probably, of 5 to 6 billion pounds. Not like signing a midfielder from Barcelona, all right? And it won't be, there won't be daily updates on it. Let me see what you're saying down here. Flourish, you're asking about Thomas Ziliakis. Nope. Absolute waste of time that is. I think I said to you, I emailed anybody. Well, he put his email and his phone number at the bottom of the press release, which was a bit of a strange thing in the first place. I'll be completely honest. Maybe not an email, but the phone number. I was like, phone number? It's a bit weird. Anyway, I got in contact and I asked for an interview, and he came back and said, yeah, great, be happy to talk to you. But I took a decision at that point. I was like, you know what? Nah. Because I just looked at it and I thought, there's no way that there's no way it's going to happen. And I'll be very surprised if it changes. So I'm not really going to entertain that, if I'm being completely honest. And you're talking about hysteria and hype. Probably somebody right there who's just trying to take advantage of it. Okay? And that's why I'm not really covering it that much. Now, something that I covered yesterday in a video was this, right? It was, we can have a little conversation about it for 5 minutes this morning as a community. I've said my piece on it yesterday, but I'd be interested to know whether you completely agree with me. Maybe you don't agree with me. I don't know. You can let me know in the comments. But that interview that Harry Maguire gave with Henry Winter, where he said that he's got nothing to prove at international level, by the way. So it's one thing to clarify before we get into this. And it's not a case of jumping in on the headline and having a go at that. We'll read the actual full quotes like I did yesterday. And this is what Harry Maguire said when he was questioned by Henry Winter about whether or not he feels properly appreciated. He goes, for England, yeah, I do. Obviously, last season was difficult for the club. But listen, I've proven myself to Gareth, who works with a wide range of centre-backs. He has a choice of all the English centre-backs in the country, and I play. Every time I'm available, I've been in the team. I'm sure if you ask the rest of the lads, they know what I bring to the team. I'm 30 years old, but I shouldn't really need to prove myself at this level. I've over 50 caps. I'm England's top scoring defender. The thing that I've probably can't get my head around most with this interview is who is advising him? It's the thing that's the thing I keep coming back to and scratching my head. Like, footballers are media trained, and you have to be. You have to understand. You have to know how to control the press, or the press will control you. And for me, this Maguire, I think for him to say that, probably with massive, real confidence as well, to say that, I've got nothing to prove. The people around him must really be feeding that. Family, friends, constantly. It's such an odd thing. Amy, you're saying Maguire's consistent lack of self-awareness is shocking. And I covered it in the video I did. I went back to that time where he said, look, three United managers are picking me. I must be doing something right. And I was like, oh my, what are you talking about, Harry? Sean Ryan is saying, what did he say that was a lie, though? He does turn up for England and he's top scoring defender for England. Did you watch England during the international break? Living off past successes, whatever you want to call it, to justify current circumstances is odd. Nick, you're saying down there, unfortunately, he feels entitled. I don't know whether it's an entitled feeling, but it's just this man here, and this was the crunch point for me. Like, Erik Ten Hag, right? Imagine you're Erik and you're reading the papers in the morning and you see that. You're like, you what? He's not reading the papers in the morning. Someone just sent him a link to the interview. It's 21st century, mate. Come on. Erik Ten Hag kicked Marcus Rashford out of his squad. Well, I say kicked him out. Took him out to start in 11 against Wolves because he was late to a meeting. Alejandro Garnacho had to wait effectively months to get into the first team because he was late, didn't show the right attitude during pre-season. Cristiano Ronaldo got booted out of the club. Well, he booted himself out of the club because his attitude was all over the shop. Erik Ten Hag has been, I use that quote, satisfaction leads to laziness. And it's something that Ten Hag has repeated and repeated and repeated. And the idea there that he's got a player who says, I've got nothing to prove. It's just, it goes totally against what Ten Hag has been saying this whole way through in terms of attitude. And this is his captain. Now, Manchester United, he knows he's got everything to prove, right? At England, I would say he's got less to prove. But you just don't say it. just don't say it. You might think it. That's fine, but just don't say it. That's what I mean about advice. Because at Manchester United, man, he's been cast into the shadows because of how good Martinez and Varane have been. They've been fantastic. And I just don't see it. This interview does not help his look. Maybe he's going down the same sort of path. I'm not saying that completely right, but maybe he's going down towards a similar path of Ronaldo, where Ronaldo kind of checked out, didn't he? Ronaldo had checked out of his United career before his United career was over. In fact, he was the one that loaded the gun and shot himself in the foot twice on purpose because he wanted to leave the club. I don't think Maguire, well, maybe Maguire's just accepted the fact that his United career is sort of kind of winding down. But it's just, I don't think Maguire's been that bad for United this year. I think I went on record to say that. I don't think he's been that bad. I think he's, as it against Real Betis, certainly away from home, I actually thought he was quite good. But it's just a really, really strange thing to say. And I'm sure it doesn't matter who you are. Like Ronaldo had won 3 Champions Leagues. 4, he's won 5 now. But when he was, after he had won 1 Champions League, do you think he went, I've got nothing to prove now, I've won it all? No. That's the complete opposite approach. Because in elite sport, the second you take your foot off that, there will be somebody who's just going to gobble that up, take the opportunity, and supersede you. Very, very strange from Harry Maguire to do that. Let me see what you're saying in the comments. And then we can probably wrap this one up. So I can go just gobble some honey. Stevie, he should never have walked into United and been given the captain's armband in the first place. Yeah, that was definitely a mistake that Solskjaer made. We can all agree on that. And that's not captain hindsight. Just getting that no player ever should walk into Manchester United and go, there you go, you're the captain. You're like, really? I mean, a lot of people kind of felt that about the number 7 shirt as well, let alone the captaincy. Ben, you're saying, I think he finds club football harder than international football. Well, he obviously feels appreciated by Gareth Southgate. But Gareth Southgate, it's a bit of a flaw of Southgate's management. Like, he just plays the boys. You know how Solskjaer reached that point where it was like Fred, McTominay, Maguire, every game, no matter how bad they played, they all played. Every game. Jobs for the boys. There are so many top quality, like Tomori. How has he never really got a look in for England? It's a really, really weird thing. What are you saying down there? Sorry. Tim Meyer, does Maguire have social media, like an account that is not supervised by agents? He doesn't seem to know any opinions outside of his bubble. I don't think it's that, Tim, but that's kind of the point I was saying about the people around him, the people he listens to. He very much is in a bubble and will just not listen to anything that tries to damage that. It's what Ronaldo doesn't is a narcissistic way of looking at the world. I'm only taking the positivity in. I'm ignoring any negativity, even if it's fair and constructive. I'm ignoring it all, and I'm just focusing on me and this way forward. And it can make it. It can. That's just odd. That's the way I would describe that interview. Doesn't help him. Doesn't help us. But I'm going to wrap this show up there today a little bit early, I think. I don't know what's going on. I'm going to have to go and get a doctor's appointment. It's gone on for too long now. I was hoping this show was going to be fine, but I've run out of water. So I'll wrap this one up early. It is a quiet day anyway. But I'm still hoping to do my lunchtime video, and I really, really hope I can do it. I'll give you a little bit of a teaser here, right? Let me see if I can find this. If I deleted it. One sec. Let me find you this video. This is a good one. Right. Right. So this video here. Oh. I can't find it, Captain. Oh, and it let me download it. Stupid thing. Anyway, I can't show you then. Great. Where is it? Why is it that sometimes WhatsApp doesn't allow you to download videos? You fools. Right, anyway, I can't show you. But I've got a video that I want to be doing on PSG and the Qatari ownership. Was it good for the club? Has it been good for the club? There's a trailer I've got for the video, but I can't show you it now. Anyway, I'm going to wrap this one up now. I apologize if I made you feel ill through the stream. I probably have made myself feel more ill. Anyway, big up to all of you. Thank you to Chris. Thank you to Jibak. Thank you to Gongshi for gifting memberships. You're all legends. Today's always the lull. In an international break, the Monday in the middle where there's nothing to really talk about and you're still a week away from the game. It's the bottom of the lull, but this week's going to start getting exciting again. We've got Newcastle on Sunday. I'll be here. Take it easy, everyone.